Hello and welcome to 709 Meridian, an audio commentary podcast, stream, etc. My name's Andrew.
And this is D.
And we are kicking off our latest season with Friday the 13th. So we're going back to 1980 New Jersey for Camp Crystal Lake with Betsy Palmer, Kevin Bacon, some other
our
people.
final girl, Adrienne King.
Directed by Sean S. Cunningham and written by Victor Miller, who would like everybody to know that he should get the rights to Friday the 13th, even if he didn't create Jason Voorhees. But we'll talk about that later. I think that's about it. You got any other business?
I guess we should also mention that within this genre, Halloween kind of lit the fuse, and Friday the 13th kept burning.
Yep.
Kept the fire burning. Even brought back the OG during the 80s, Leatherface, in the wake of all these sequels that it spawned.
Yep. This sort of this showed everybody that you could spend almost no money and kill a bunch of teenagers and show some boobs and make a lot of money.
Mm-hmm.
So, right. You ready?
Yes, sir.
All right. Starting in 3, 2, 1, play. Paramount.
The old Paramount logo.
A Gulf and Western Company.
Right? Before we went to all Viacom and...
Mm-hmm. It was all downhill after that. Okay, so we're going to open on it. I haven't seen this in, I don't know, 5 or 8 years or something, but I bet we open on a flashback to the 50s, right?
Yeah, the 50s.
Yeah, so...
a lot of these slasher pictures had a prologue that take place sometime before the actual action of the film.
So you can kill 5 minutes, basically. But and Halloween did too, right?
Halloween did. Halloween sort of started the...
Yeah, because original Texas Chainsaw just has the narration.
Yeah, they just drop them right in there.
Yeah. It's got the news report and shit. But here we go. Oh, we've got the music just going. Fuck yeah.
Oh, yeah. POV.
Harry Manfredini not messing around.
Right. So already we're familiar here with the POV, the creepy music. Something sinister is afoot.
I feel like by 80, there had probably been other sleepaway camp type slashers yet. Like, had there been...
Sleepaway Camp didn't come out.
That was 82.
82, 83.
But had anything come before this?
Yeah, before this, I don't think so. Because I know after this came, almost directly after this came, The Burning, which was almost a complete rip of this.
Wasn't it a little bit more? Didn't it have more of a name cast? I can't remember. I've never seen it.
Somewhat, yeah.
Okay.
And then it had people who became, like Fisher Stevens and
gotcha. It was
Jason Alexander,
as opposed to this, which only has Kevin Bacon, basically.
Kevin Bacon, yeah.
Nope, I forgot what I was... Oh, yeah. Well, 1958 would put this at, this could be the Parent Trap camp.
Yeah. And it should have been.
Yeah. Crossover. Hey, now, once Disney buys Paramount, that's the way you do it. You do Disney princesses versus Jason Voorhees. There's a Jason versus I don't know why we're talking about Jason Voorhees since he's not in this movie, or except well, hold on, we'll
He's
talk about
kind
that
of in
later.
it.
He's kind of
Yeah.
in it, but there's a I think it's Australian. Jason versus Michael the Evil emerges. It's just like a 20-minute wrestling video. It's fucking awesome.
Oh my God.
They run into each other in the woods and they just fight for 20 minutes. Like,
And a lot of, fans really just took off over the years with Jason and, fan films. We'll probably get into that with the sequels. This one here, though, is very unique amongst the sequels because it features an antagonist that is not Jason. Oh, spoiler alert.
spoiler alert. It also features like a motivated
Yeah,
antagonist, whereas Jason's just generally mad at the teens.
yeah.
What were you doing?
Why do you not look period accurate?
What I love about the Harry Manfredini music is it's just basically fucking Psycho times
Psycho, yeah.
a billion, right? Like,
A lot of strings, very loud strings, and it's peppered with you know, the sound effect. And we have a title, folks.
it broke the glass, predating its 3D sequel.
Right. Now, in planning this, before they even had a script, they had the title. They had no idea what the hell they were going to do with the, title.
Right.
They just knew it was a catchy title.
We've got Tom Savini did the
Tom
makeup.
Savini,
There you go.
Manfredini.
Manfredini did all the first 8, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. That's Steve Miner, who will direct the next 2 and go
Like,
on to do Halloween H2O.
Paramount really, for all the hell they get, that critics might have given the franchise, Paramount really took care of it, when it was hot.
When it was hot, yeah. Like, they knew how to do franchises.
Yeah, they really took care of it. Okay, so it is now Friday, June 13th. The present.
And we're getting to our 95-minute runtime with some very slow camera moves.
It looks great, though. Look at that.
Yeah.
I love that shot. This is stuff you never. Again, these movies. I was for the longest time. I was so used to seeing them with the shitty, pan and scan,
Oh, yeah.
or the bad framing on TV.
Well, and I mean, just TV and VHS in general, you're not going to get the depth on you're not going to get the detail on the image, and you're not going to get the depth of color. Like,
No, it
and
looks so
yeah,
good.
this looks really fucking good. I think that's kind of something that happens with these is that the first 2 look good, but then they start.
Yeah, they kind of
Yeah.
more 80s it gets.
Yeah, the more 80s it gets, but this is AT, this is when film stock was film stock, people.
Yeah, this is where they appreciated it.
Mm-hmm.
Every little bit of frame of that.
Or nobody was making shitty enough stuff. Here we get the Dracula-like opening of I want to go to Camp Crystal Lake.
And there's what's his face. Forget his name. He used to be on the Jeffersons every now and then. The big dude.
Yep. Guy
He
at
looks
the end
really
of the
young there.
yeah. Everybody's just so friendly in 1980. Well, this is also a nice place to shoot. Like it's an uneven sidewalks and shit. Like it's an interesting location.
There's dirty old Ralph,
Yep.
who we'll see again.
So the thing that definitely isn't talked about today is throughout the 70s, before Halloween and the slasher movie, you did
Mhm.
have low budget horror movies, right? Like
Yeah, the B movies.
the B movies starting in, I mean, probably starting with Night of the Living Dead in 68. And then
Yeah.
pretty steadily, there were just B movies. They would not have, they had like a familiar stable. There were some actresses who in multiple ones. There were horror movies from overseas and shit. Like they got dubbed and released. There was the
Yeah, those
Hammer
Argento
Dracula.
films.
Yeah,
The
Argento,
Hammer. Yeah.
Bava. Yeah, this sort of, at least this one, looks more like your low budget 70s sort of not quite exploitation horror picture than it
The
does,
thriller.
yeah, a gore thriller. Then the
Yeah.
Fangoria thing it'll become
Mm-hmm.
in 4 or 5 movies.
And this was probably the first time a lot of these effects were attempted. Although Savini admitted that a lot of his stuff comes from Argento. And
Mm.
who's the other one?
Bava, Mario
Bava.
Bava,
Yeah.
yeah. But I mean, that's also another thing is that back when like Bava started, you still had that really high
Who
like
who did the one with Jennifer Connelly?
that's Argento.
That's Argento, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Argento wasn't quite as what's the word I'm looking for? Like the blood wasn't quite as not neon, but exaggerated color
Right.
wise, like oversaturated, I guess. Um The other weird thing about this is that you've got the first movie in the franchise, and Paramount will never sort of deal with the mythology of this
Mm.
until they'll never deal with it, right? Like in
Well,
Jason Goes to Hell retcons it to try to get some material out of it, but not until then.
mm, mm. Well, 2 and 3 are basically echoes of this first movie. And then from 4 onward, it becomes its own thing, I think.
Elston Oil Supply. If they had a bigger budget, it could blow up, but no. This is also like farmland New Jersey. You don't actually see this in movies a lot.
uh-uh. No, because when they say Jersey, it's like
Yeah. Oh, here we go.
Mr. Footloose himself. Kevin Bacon, pretty much the only recognizable face in this.
Yep. Mario
Although,
Puzo's The Godfather on the
right there
dashboard.
on the dash, yeah. Betsy Palmer was well known to older audiences, I guess, at the time.
I think she was their Donald Pleasance, right? She was adding
Right,
some
she was the Pleasance.
legitimacy to it.
Ah, Camp Crystal Lake.
What a pretty sign. I wonder if that will change over the years.
Be put in different places.
Oh, glasses guy. He's either going to be a creep or he's going to die.
Probably both.
Well, he's definitely going to die, but is he going to be a creep before he dies?
This guy really they were said to have had like a more elaborate script to sort of flesh out the characters more, but budget wouldn't allow them. So there is a deeper story.
They just didn't make that and realized they didn't have to after it was a hit.
Right. So there's like a lot of stuff here that alludes to,
Right.
but you know, there's no point to it ultimately. And there's Alice, Adrian King.
Ugh.
Okay, here we go.
So, did we talk over the story? Do we know, is the camp reopened or has it always been opened?
He's refurbing, I think, and I think he reopened. That's Steve Christie, I think. Glasses guy.
Yep. I mean, I don't know, but you
He's the
watched
head
the
of the.
long documentary, right?
Yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah. I've always
For the
wanted
both of
to.
us, I had to suffer through shitty Corey Feldman narration.
He narrates the whole thing.
The whole fucking thing, dude.
Okay. I don't know. It's 8 hours. It's 10
And he
and a
has some
half if it's the
crappy
director's cut.
yeah, he has some shitty like inserts every now and then. There's another one that's pretty good though. It's a lot shorter. Called His Name Was Jason, and that's hosted by Savini.
It's nice that this nightmare and all those other things, regardless of it, they've produced some really nice documentaries talking about
Oh
like
yeah,
just the thing. Like,
yeah. Because despite the Feldman, see here we go. These two.
hmm. She looks like a proto. Oh, there we go. John Hughes heroine.
Yeah, she's Molly Ringwald Phase One.
She's like Molly Ringwald and Mary Louise Park, or not Mary Louise.
Mayor
Mary,
Winningham.
no, not Parker. The other Mary
Huh?
from Mary Stuart Masterson.
Mary
She's,
Stuart Masterson.
she's Mary
Yeah.
Stuart Masterson and Molly Ringwald. These guys are not wearing a lot of clothes. What's going on here? Like,
No, it's a lot of pants with suspenders.
yep.
Very early '80s.
This
Very
shot,
G
yeah.
Giles band looking.
I don't know, but they should do something looking at the fashion of Friday the 13th movies because we are going to hit some shit throughout this series. Like bare midriffs and such of the dudes, that
All those
era.
half shirts. Yeah.
Yeah. Fucking 80s. Weird, weird time. Everybody basically white and
Hey, so
black, dressed like Willis from fucking a weird season of Different Strokes.
So Steve's headed into town to, you know,
Do something.
do
Yeah,
Steve Christie shit
I
for half
forgot.
the movie.
I don't think I have ever appreciated how good this like looks. Maybe it's just because I've been watching stuff shot on video for the last 10 years now, but
Yeah, that's what I mean. See, I told you it. I've come away with a bigger appreciation for this one because it just looks so good too. You know.
well, it look this is I think I mean we're gonna lose the daytime scenes eventually, but um the sort of template for this late summer day is Texas Chainsaw, just
Hmm.
as a comedy, but like visually, the setting sun and stuff, that's something they did in Texas Chainsaw that was incredibly successful.
Yeah.
Because you can capture that shit. This is hard stuff to do on video. That's why
Hmm.
they fucking CGI it. Just picks her up and kills her. It's fucking sorry.
Now Annie here, yeah, is kind of our. You didn't think up until this point that she was going to be, victim number one, but
Right.
this is another parallel to Psycho, where you get that
And
false security that she's going to be the main character.
you gotta wonder, the reaction to this was incredibly hostile. What did Ebert, Siskel and Ebert hated it. Siskel called it, was it the horrible 13 or dreadful 13? They just hated this shit.
Yeah, they never
Like,
liked it.
no.
No.
And the thing is that if you had approached these a little bit differently, who knows where the genre could, like, it took horror movies, what, until like the late aughts to sort of get to being relatively
Well,
reliable.
I think if the gore
Mm,
might have been cut down because they did like Halloween.
yeah. And then once the gore and well, that's the thing about gore is that action gore done John Wick style is a lot more entertaining and it's
Hmm.
not as
When it's
exploitative.
cartoonish,
Right, when it's
almost.
cartoonish. Whereas this is just about like terrorizing this chick and then killing her in a
Yeah, and then
graphic
killing
way.
her straight up.
So they gotta fake, but I feel like if there had been more attempts at the genre without demonizing it, we could
Yeah.
have gotten to better horror movies earlier.
I find it really funny that they didn't like this one, considering the twist.
I mean,
Because their whole trip was it's so misogynistic that these women are in peril and they're being stalked by these men. This is like the only one aside from a couple down the line that had a female doing all this shit.
I mean, Siskel and Ebert had some really bad takes.
Yeah, they had bad takes on shit.
Like,
Because I would have gave this one a pass and maybe part two.
but I mean, they didn't give any of this stuff a pass, right? Like at this point, you'd had
I
they
think
gave
they
Halloween a
might have.
pass,
I
but
don't
that
know
was
which
it.
one they liked. There was another one that they.
But I don't think they liked Texas Chainsaw. Did they? I don't remember.
I don't remember.
But the fuck was I just gonna say? It was really funny or something. But I
Because
mean, this is
Ebert.
also. Oh no, Siskel and Ebert. Yes, everybody. If you want to be mortified, go watch them talking about New Jack City on the Tonight Show. It's fucked up. But anyway,
These were what Ebert eventually coined the term dead teenager movies. So I doubt they really even watched a lot of them all the
That's
way.
the other thing. Like they infamously didn't watch things all the way through.
Because there are some of these that aren't that bad. Although there was I don't know, can't remember if Happy Birthday to Me came out before or after this.
I
Because that
feel
was
like it
another
was
one that came out.
81.
Okay, it came out around the same time, and it did something slightly different that made it more of a thriller than a slasher, but it got thrown into the slasher genre.
And other movies were getting like De Palma was starting to do some slashery stuff. Like they were
Well,
adding the elements into it.
he had the he fell back on the fact that he was aping Hitchcock.
Right. He was basically
The
Hitchcock with
suspense,
gore.
yeah, suspense gore.
I think that I mean some of the thing about these is that it's like a Porky's movie or whatever, right? Like well, just in that it's sort of up to you how much attention you're going to pay to all these characters, right? Like
Yeah, this is I would say this is the first movie where they were all just stock, blatantly cannon fodder,
right.
as
And that
opposed to Halloween, where you really got to like those girls.
right.
These kids are just here frolicking until they get pecked off, one by one. It runs at a pace where you don't even have time to really give a shit.
Now,
Like, I don't even, to this day, I couldn't tell you any fucking names aside from Alice.
Bill, that guy's name's
Okay, that one's
Bill.
Bill. Like Kevin Bacon. I just called Kevin Bacon in this.
Yeah, I mean, none of them are. It's going to be a few movies before they try to introduce any memorable characters. And then they do one where everybody's a memorable character.
Yeah.
We would have next year, there'd be Evil Dead. And so that did they like Evil Dead? Like Evil Dead really early amped up the gore stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So by 83 or something, these were practically mainstream horror.
Yeah, they were just cranking these out.
Yeah. I
Like I
mean, I
found
think they
some that
came
are
out every
just
year.
unfucking believable. Like Butcher, Baker, uh Nightmare Maker. That one is garbage.
And they're like all made in fucking New Jersey. Larry
Mm-hmm.
Cohen never did he ever do anything
Yes.
this? Okay.
Um. Wait. No. 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 Trauma got a hold of. That's what you call them. Graduation Day. Well, I can't remember which one Larry Cohen did.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yep.
It's Alive that he did those, right?
Yeah, Larry Cohen
Yeah.
did
And
It's
that
Alive.
started in the 70s, so that was another sort of East Coast
Mm-hmm.
horror thing. Horror was more East Coast.
And then
Like,
there was Chud and
yep,
the stuff
the stuff.
that
Also, Larry Cohen.
that came in '85, I think.
Yeah. Is this cop looks a teeny bit like Joey Pants.
A little, yeah. Oh, see, he's the clown.
Yeah, he's the clown. He's what happens if you're not memorable enough to get cast as Styles ever, basically. Like
Yeah.
all of these, or you don't have a bid enough to be in Revenge of the Nerds. Like,
Hey, why isn't McGinley in this? I'm
he ought to
shocked he never
be.
made it into one of the Friday 13th.
They don't have many people. Is the one with Corey Feldman 4 the first one?
Yeah, that's 4.
That's like the mom is the first person that's a regular that's in the movie that's over 35 for
Mm-hmm.
until you get to there being evil stepfathers and shit or whatever.
And then Terry Kaiser shows up.
Hell yeah.
7.
709 Meridian favorite Terry Kaiser.
Terry Kaiser.
This fucking cop turned it around so he could zoom past the kids. Like, jeez.
And Alice is wearing the hell out of those jeans. Jeez. Oh, Sassoons.
But I mean, this is like a John Williams, well, until not John Williams, John Hughes scene until that, right? Like your montage of the
Oh, Crazy Ralph.
how did they not get somebody for that?
Yeah,
Like
that could have been Martin Landau, dude.
nobody, this is the thing, nobody understands. Before 2006 or whatever, nobody was really, actors weren't as fucking desperate as they are now. Today, you could get Al Pacino to do that. Like,
That would be Christopher Walken.
I don't know if you can get Christopher Walken to do it. De Niro. You get De Niro. You spent fucking $60 million to cast De Niro as Crazy Ralph. I mean, actually, it should be Crispin Glover, but other than
It
that.
should, yeah. Nowadays, it should be.
And okay, so we are 31 minutes into this, and we've had the one death. So yeah, no, that should be Crispin Glover, and it should have followed him being a creep around the camp until this point.
Mm-hmm. Also, this being the first movie. Oh shoot!
So now we've got a cooking scene and bad
Okay.
bulb, no power. Um, she really does look like Molly Ringwald. She could be Molly Ringwald's older sister
Yeah.
in 16 Candles.
Instead of whoever the hell that was.
And instead of whoever the hell that was.
But by that time, this chick was like, what, 30?
Right? Because Law and Order didn't exist yet, everyone. You didn't have a guaranteed job living in New York as an actor. Like you would do this and maybe one or two other things, and then you wouldn't make it. Or you'd be Kevin Bacon.
Yeah, or you just be lucky enough to be Kevin Bacon.
And that's like 1 out of 7, right? Like, or
yeah, because none of the rest of these people.
There'll be whole movies in this where nobody went on to anything more than a sitcom. Like, That's an unheard of ratio, especially for the 80s. Because when you look at somebody like Kevin Bacon, he ensemble casts were still launching people, right? Like Diner, everybody in Diner
Yeah,
went
from
on to
this
something,
he went to
right?
Diner, right?
Yeah, there might have been something in between, but
Or was it
like
Taps?
he did Taps. Taps was
Yeah,
80 or 81, yeah. And that's a weird
everybody
one
got
too.
something off of Taps.
Yeah, everybody got something off of Taps. Like the era where Timothy Hutton was more popular than Tom Cruise is a forgotten
Or
era.
even Sean Penn.
Oh, exactly.
Like they sort of like
And,
really crisscrossed each other at a
yeah.
point.
In the early, it's a weird fucking time, the early 80s. And it's like, because it really didn't amount to anything, right? Like it was
Well, the young
interesting at the
people then though got to act. You know, it wasn't until Molly Ringwald became a thing that suddenly it was just teenagers who looked good and performed in front of the camera and did like shallow movies and shit. So they had a bubble where they had a lot of the young people really act in these movies.
yeah,
It just
and
happened to be these, they were these, you know, B-level slasher thriller pictures.
the it would take until kind of after back when TV got big in the early aughts post Sopranos to really give people a chance to
Mm-hmm.
have meaty roles again, because at best when you've got everything's a tent pole, you've got one scene in the movie or something. Like it's not, and nobody ever did well off of being a kid in danger in a fucking blockbuster. Like who's the best actor to come out of that?
Oh God. Yeah, no. Because
Most of them quit.
the kids from Jurassic Park, the boy, he just got older
Yep.
and does random shit. Uh,
And she
Ariana
didn't.
Richards just kind of she tapped out
Yeah, she
not long
paints or
after.
something. Yeah,
She did
like
Angus, and then like you didn't see her again.
so they just it. They're not the same. They're not like the professional teen actor who fucking tries at it for years and like finally gets
And
good later. Like it's like
there was a stretch of time where they didn't even have those movies either.
right.
Like the '90s, the only reason why people love Clueless so much is because that was one of the few
Yeah,
that was directed towards that teen
and
audience
Empire
that
Records.
in Empire Records, but Empire Records didn't really do well.
No, because it's fucking terrible.
Yeah.
Like that's a really bad movie. But so's
And Angus
Clueless.
got overlooked too.
IMO, yes, and fucking Angus got overlooked. A lot of stuff got overlooked at the time. Oh, here we go. Our first nudity. She's wearing Ripley undies. We've seen
Right, the
Alien.
Ripley specials.
Yep. Do we know what their
Oh,
names are?
Kevin Bacon and what's her face?
Okay. Given that he and Kyra Sedgwick were probably dating but already at this point, it would have been fucking hilarious if she'd been in this.
Yeah.
But it's not because they weren't, I don't know, whatever. She's not in the fucking movie, so it's not hilarious. Instead, it's our first.
Uh-oh. It's getting kind of hot in this cabin.
That's the kind of thing about these is that they've always got like the protracted. Bumpin'
Hmm.
Ugly scene where Halloween didn't really drag it out too much, right? Like, or it was funny and shit. Like, these are just like, which one of the actresses did they convince to go
Yeah. Which
topless?
one? Which one did they say? Hey, we really think you got something here.
Which one did they bully and deceive the most, right? Like the Cindy
Which one's
Morgan
tits did they
story,
want to see more than the other ones?
right? Ugh.
uh, they're gonna play strip Monopoly.
I don't feel like this would work for very long. You pay the bank more often than
Yeah.
4 to 5 items.
But then again, when we see them next,
Okay.
well, probably this would be the time where we could give a delivering the bacon joke, but
but
let's play it out.
wait, are we? Nope, we're not actually getting to the fucking.
Well,
Are we
he's
getting?
at least he hung in there longer than the guy from Halloween.
There we go. That's the
Yeah.
line. Wow, these scenes age great. Like, but wait,
Oh no, it's that guy.
wow, you could have done that so much sooner. Like,
Yeah.
what was I watching? I was just watching something that was just dragging out the cuts a little bit too long. What the hell would that have been? Because then you have something like Werewolf by Night that doesn't at all because they can't get away with it. So they have
Hmm.
to be really quick. Oh, so somebody, there's your second bit of nudity, I think. Somebody recut Batman 1989 as a silent movie
Hmm.
with just the Danny Elfman music, and it works really well, except he holds some of the shots too long. But yeah, like otherwise, it works really well with the Danny Elfman music. I haven't watched the whole thing, but I watched like the first couple scenes, and it worked
I might
out.
check it out. Have you seen Batman 1919 to 1939?
What's that?
Some channel does a whole like Gotham thing that takes place in from 1919 to 1939.
Hmm.
It chronicles the history of the Bat family as, time accurate to
Right.
then. It's pretty good.
Yeah. What's
They
his
based it on
face?
some book that they did.
Okay. Um, Francesco Francavilla might have somebody or Cliff Chang did like a Batman film noir semi
Hmm.
proposal with various characters in like a 30s or 40s milieu, and it was really cool looking. So like, yeah, I actually dig the ones where they try to fit it to something historically, just because
Yeah.
it's like the best of else worlds.
The one I saw even had Batmite. Like, and Batmite was like this. They found a logical way to figure him
Hmm.
in, and he wasn't, some, magic creature or whatever.
For Kevin Bacon fans, he smokes his cigarette the same way when he smokes in a diner. So clearly, his acting coach worked with him on that.
There's Tom Savini at work.
There we go.
Tom Savini effects.
Well, that's what I don't get, because you've got something like Dawn of the Dead, which has a bunch of gore,
Mm-hmm.
and
But Dawn of the Dead had more of the the message behind it, and
yeah, I don't know.
it was preachy.
I just feel like this, because by the time you've got the 90s, you've got tons of direct to video horror movies, just including by big directors, right? Like,
Oh my god. Speaking of that, I just recently watched The Guardian.
that fucking William Friedkin thing
Yes,
with the, is
the
that the
killer
one?
tree.
Okay, that one. I remember that was on TV all the time.
All the time back in
What
the
was
day.
the one from? Oh shit! Is it from the 80s about the building, or the late 70s about the building that like they used people with physical conditions in the last shot to show them as hellish beings and shit? There's
Oh
something
shit.
with, yeah, there's something like that. And I'm like, I bet that ages well. Like,
Yeah.
but
I still
yeah,
got to work up enough nerve to watch Of Unknown Origin again. I haven't seen that in years. Peter Weller.
yeah.
That one was pretty good.
That was George Pan Cosmatos, I believe.
Mm.
Is she talking to
She's still in
herself in the
K
mirror?
Hepburn.
Okay.
Having so much fun.
I sure hope I don't get killed.
Yeah, you kind of hate to see this one go. She's kind of funny.
Yeah, I mean, there's no. This is the thing about this is before. I guess when Sean S. Cunningham watched Halloween, he didn't realize people liked PJ Souls and Nancy
Nancy
Keys.
Keys.
So
Yeah.
like when they made the, or Victor Miller, whoever, but when they made this, it wouldn't be until Nightmare on Elm Street that you really had people trying to make you like the teens. So that was like
Yeah.
4 more years. And it seems like it was kind of simultaneous, because I feel like that the fourth one of these is when they started trying to do more character building during the
Yeah.
30-minute build up before they started fucking killing them.
Part three kind of does it in such a lazy manner, but yeah.
If I remember part three right, and we'll find out soon, that's the one where Steve Miller is like trying harder, but like he's fucking around with 3D, so there's only so much you can do.
Yeah. Like they tried to give the characters a little more backstory and depth.
Had Silent Night, Deadly Night 1 come out at this point?
No,
No.
that was
Whoa!
whoa.
Tom
That
Savini.
was Silent Night, Deadly Night was 83,
Okay.
83, 84. Both of those, that and Sleepaway Camp came out a lot later than I thought they did.
Okay. This dude, look at him at an angle. He's indistinguishable from Paul Rudd when he's looking down
Yeah,
at the
he is.
table.
Yep.
Odd bit of trivia, that probably could be Paul Rudd. No, right? He's not
Right.
that old.
Yeah, he is.
Mm,
Paul Rudd's Methuselah.
well, I mean, yeah, he
Whoa.
was 30 when he romanced Alicia Silverstone in Clueless.
And he was in the classic TV movie Stalking Back. Moment of Truth. Jesus, what were they doing in there?
I don't know, because
Oh,
none
oh,
of,
that's right. The wind blew it open, but damn,
but he lost his shirt I don't get their Monopoly rules. I don't feel like
he
it's,
lost all of her clothes, and then he lost just his
yeah,
shirt,
that
and
doesn't,
then Alice lost nothing.
we've got a diner location here. There'll be some of these where you don't even fucking get out of the camp.
Uh-huh. Steve's just the life of the party, isn't he?
Yep. It's the Superman 2 diner.
Right?
Okay, so yeah,
Give me a plate of that garbage.
you could cut Parent Trap into this, and you could cut Superman 2 into this.
Hey, look here, Rocky. I don't want any trouble, okay?
You keep the quarter. It's 1980. I mean, I don't know. You could buy a
Now,
comic book.
for a while, we're kind of working with red herrings.
Yeah, because at this point we're supposed to think it's him.
Yeah, we're supposed to
Because
think it's either him or Crazy Ralph. Because
yeah,
Crazy
but
Ralph is just gone away at this point.
Crazy Ralph's gone away, but he's got the Jeep like the killer.
Yeah, the Jeep like the killer.
So he's the red herring. I feel like they do the well, they turn this into a huge thing by what is that the fifth one? But the
That literally is the Jeep, though, right?
yeah, they use the same Jeep. Of course they did. It's like how the helicopter in Batman Forever and American President is the same CGI model. Um, but yeah, that's the funny thing about these movies is like they only have about 9 story elements, but they've got 8 movies, so you get to see the combinations multiple times throughout. Like,
Kind of why I never understood why they didn't do one of these set in winter.
I mean, because they were always making these as cheap as they could, right? Like, and that
I guess there's summer movies too, right?
there's summer movies. Well, I thought they came out for Halloween, didn't they?
I think a few of them did.
But yeah, I mean, well, that's the other thing is like their most popular era was probably 1 through 6.
1 through 4,
Were
and then
there
five. Five did make money. It just disappointed a lot of people. So yeah, maybe 1 through 6, and then 7 was where they were definitely on shaky ground because they were doing gimmicks and shit.
and 8 was like delayed. So
Yeah,
and the thing about these movies is like you don't want them delayed. They're like your next season of fucking Stranger Things or whatever, right? Like you want to make your deadline because it's money in that quarter.
hmm
Because they were guaranteed. I mean, like that's the kind of thing about this and the Nightmare on Elm Streets. They were guaranteed money makers in an era where you know everything
yeah.
was on shaky ground. Otherwise, to
Even
some
on
degree,
even Nightmare on Elm Street by 5 is where they really fucked up
yeah.
because 4 was a big hit. Like, and then they totally rushed 5, and that's where they slipped, and then they had the show.
It's almost like rushing sequels is a bad idea. I don't know if
Yeah.
Star Trek 5 could tell us anything about that.
Don't you just want to see more misadventures of Steve Christie? Most exciting dude in the movie.
Yep. Just Dragon. Well, at least they got some real rain here, and they got the
Yeah.
real rainmaker going. Now, this is, of course, very interesting because we don't have the shitty nighttime photography we'll have probably by at least definitely the fifth movie, but possibly sooner. We are still trying to be scary with the darkness outside in a very Halloween type way. The fear of
Hmm.
the unknown versus the fear of the creeping slasher, basically.
And at this point, we pretty much ruled out Steve because he's with the cop, unless they were going to trick us with a time jump or something.
And they haven't done that significantly. But what if it's like Scream 1 and it's Steve and the cop?
Right. That was a little rosier, man.
That's what the Scream movies do. Like their legacy is revealing the truth. Like you could have two killers. Wow! Like
I think they
we.
wore it out, though.
Oh yeah, but it's like some of the observations they made. It's just like, yeah, you could have had two killers the whole time,
Hmm.
and you did actually, right? In or no, Psycho 2, the killer just wasn't who you thought it was, but then it was again because they had to
Yeah.
do a sequel. But for a second, there was only the one.
Doesn't three? I thought Psycho 3 kind of rubbed out Psycho 2 in a way.
I think it does. I think it sort of retcons some of it. I can't
Yeah,
remember.
retconned it. And then there was that fucking between 2 and 3. They had the Bates Motel that they were gonna do the show
Yep, with
where
Bateman.
where Norman gives away the hotel. He gives away the motel to a friend of his from the what the
Asylum.
asylum,
Yeah.
and then he died. Norman dies. TV's Norman Bates dies and leaves his motel to somebody, and then they come back with Psycho 3. Although Psycho 4 wasn't bad either.
The TV one, yeah.
That one wasn't bad. It's just, it's kind of more of a bookend than anything.
Again, we the dark is doing a lot of work here. But I mean, this is harder to shoot than flooding everything with blue light, right? Like
Yeah. And then we're really going to get kind of a. See, this is really good here. Ah!
calling back to the arrows earlier.
Mm hmm. A shitty way to go. Damn.
It's kind of sad that she automatically assumes that they're just teasing her too. Like that's the other thing about Friday the 13th movies. All these people assume that their friends would try to terrify them.
Yeah. Scare them like that. And then.
Oh, oh God, that's right.
Mm.
He's got to play the guitar because everybody had a guitar starting in 1971.
An acoustic. Yeah. So
Yep,
everybody had an acoustic
about
sitting somewhere.
71 to 84, probably, right? Like,
Yeah, and then it became a electric guitar and a skateboard from the 80s.
yep. So even though the exterior nighttime photography is very nice, this interior photography has very little personality. Like they look like they're under fluorescence because I think they're probably on a soundstage in fucking Jersey. Like that's probably the studio where Law and Order has been filming since 1993. But this is, yeah, I mean, that sort of nighttime photography, it hasn't really gone away. Um, but it gives these movies a certain look to them that you get in the early 80s that it sort of changes. um I don't know, around 85, 86. You sort of lose, instead of shooting night for um the, keeping the blacks black to hide what's back there and be mysterious, you're shooting it with light because what is it, the fucking, like, look at this shot, right? Like
Yeah.
turning on the lights is removing the unknown element, and so like it's kind of like a freebie type deal. Like, I mean, the Thing does it in 82. It's like,
Mm.
I don't know why. I mean, the Nightmare on Elm Street movies get rid of it because they're trying to show off the production
Yeah.
design and the unknown, right? They're trying to show off the set pieces. But I don't know
And
why.
they eventually used kind of a that weird thing where they have a light coming from a corner. They started that where you're walking down an alley and you just see a light from
Yeah,
nowhere behind
like where Spider-Man puts his webs, like, yeah.
yeah, it's just somewhere there shouldn't even be light coming from.
Wait. Okay, so they're under an overhang. That's why the rain wouldn't be hitting the stuff. Did Kevin Bacon die without discovering his friend?
Yeah,
Wow.
the blood dripped on him
Yep,
first,
that's
and then
right. And then he gets the spear. Yeah. After he does his Lee Strasberg Academy smoking scene. Car's not starting. Here's a trope. Like, yeah, we really did not keep a bingo card around. We should have done that. I'm sure they exist out there. I'm sure you just have to adapt the Friday the
this is the
13th
first
drinking
of
game.
many in this franchise, though.
Just
Stalled cars.
bad cars in Crystal Lake, New Jersey. What are you going to do?
Yeah, don't even drive in Crystal Lake. Just take a bike, or you
What?
come out and your bike's got flat tires, but
Crazy Ralph's got a bike if you need it. Now we've
Steve's
got
just the life of the party.
this guy whining about how violent the cities are
I
and how you should. I think this guy's in the second one, right?
think so.
Yeah. I think he's like one of the few people who comes back. But
He looks like a Hazard County deputy.
there's a lot of complaining about the cities because it contrasts, because really the violence is here. And
Here in rural New Jersey.
but I don't like they when do they even have kids? It's a couple movies before they even have kids come to the camp, right?
That's not till
That's
six.
6, right? It takes them
Yeah, that's not till 6 because that's when
forever.
they reopened it
Yeah,
and called it something else.
for the summer camp setting to have actual campers like it is.
Because in 2, it's a setup kind of like this, where it's before they're supposed to arrive, and then 3 takes place at just some remote, you know, barn nearby. 4
Fours on the
again
other
is
side
just
of the lake.
yeah, it's just another part of the area.
But what's so
And
I mean, they're tied up in rights, but I can't understand how nobody was like, why don't we just remake all of these on a streaming series, like with continuity and shit, like the Game of Thronesify this shit? I don't know. It would have been so easy
yeah, they could have.
until Victor Miller started suing people. So, okay, so it is definitely not Steve the Boar.
Yeah, Steve's out.
Now we heard that the generator's working, but now we're going back over to the generator to,
Steve even died shitty.
yep,
God.
POV shot. So now we're turning out the lights. Okay. How close are we to the end? We are not. We got 30 minutes.
Oh, it's about to.
It's Is it gonna kick off?
Yeah, the pacing is just about to be insane in a minute. As soon as this guy disappears.
That's the thing that I feel like Siskel and Ebert didn't refuse to appreciate about the genre is when it kicks off between, in the last half hour or whatever.
Yeah.
Lots of people did great work with that kind of thing and it went unappreciated.
Final Exam is a great example of that too. Even though the killer in that is just the laziest, like, but then again, I guess it fits for what that was.
Got to put on my
You got to
red
see that one.
slicker.
Check out Final Exam, dude.
All right. You got to put on your red slicker so we can see you when you go outside.
Final Exam and Graduation Day are are unbelievable.
Okay, we're still not showing what's going on outside. Come on, Paul Rudd. Let's get it going.
Yeah, he really looks like him there.
See, once Disney buys Paramount, this can be the secret origin of Scott Lang.
He was a would-be camp counselor one year.
Mm-hmm. Good thing he knows how to use. He's the one who knows how to use the generator, and he's lived
Mm.
this long.
No, not yet. I remember the Nintendo game. The Nintendo game was headache inducing, man. Where you had to go rescue the kids from each cabin.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like every 2 seconds, that damn alarm would go off. You have to make your way like across the damn thing just to get to the cabin.
I thought the PS4 thing sounded good, but I don't like
I want to
first.
play that.
I can't do first person. I'm too old or
Yeah, I can't
something.
do it for too long. Yeah,
It's weird.
start getting that motion sickness.
I don't even get the motion sickness. I just like I can't get like engaged with it. It's really weird. Cause I mean, that's
I think it's
how
better when you play with a bunch of people because it's basically just hide and seek.
yeah, it's see all this first person shit, we'll see if VR changes it for me, but give me third person whatever. Like I like
Hmm.
feeling like I'm playing an action movie or something like, which is weird because there's plenty of first person stuff that has really awesome design and shit, but still like it that
Yeah.
doesn't work. The open world for me, I got to have the third person thing going on.
Hmm.
Okay, so the lights are back on, the boring lights are back on. She should be only lit from, yeah, look at that fucking light over her head. But that's kind of the weird thing is like nobody's, and it's the same for something like Nightmare on Elm Street. Nobody super legit is willing to bet their careers on it.
Mm.
Like you don't have any, like they had a hell of a time finding directors for the reboots of these from Platinum Dunes.
Yeah.
Like none of those Platinum Dunes movies had good directors. The best was probably the guy who went on to co-direct Lemonade, right? Like they did not have good directors on that shit. And it's like, but you should have. You should have some like rabid fan who wants to
Yeah,
do this
somebody who
shit.
really wanted to.
Yeah.
I mean, shit, they had fans moderate some of the commentaries on the these movies, the re-releases for DVD.
Yeah. Like there's no reason. Oh, the only
Ah,
person there is oh wow. Tom Savini. Oh, look at those eyes move.
Gil just got
Don't move your eyes, Bill.
violated.
Don't move your eyes, Bill. Okay. Running through the dark. All we see is the flashlight going. Well, could have. Well, what I love is everybody's got these their rain slickers on, and they make absolutely no visual difference because you can't see them outside. So it's just like,
No.
is that a pulley to keep the door locked, or is it a noose? Because
Now, in the later movies, a body would come flying through one of those windows.
yeah, because once you've got a supernatural, once you've got a monster slasher out to get you, yeah,
Yeah,
you
all
get to
bets
do
are off.
lots of stuff. Yeah.
They literally do it in like what, like part 4. Hell, they probably do it in part 3.
I remember part three, Jason, Super Jason being pretty immediate. Like
Yeah,
they don't waste time. Because I mean, to some degree, these would have been interesting to make because of the effects, right? So you've got somebody like Tom Savini putting in the work, trying to do
yeah.
the
He
gore.
sort of he lit the fuse for why people kind of went for these in a way.
Yeah. And Trauma never did anything this straight faced, right? Like,
No, they always did just. just balls to the wall. Just yeah.
Yeah. So if you weren't into that, there was only so many things.
Oh, and then there was Savini did Maniac
That's right.
and The Prowler, which I think came out around the same time as this, if not, 81.
So there's a book called, I think it's called Shock Value.
Hmm.
It's great. It's all about the slasher movie startups in the 70s. But basically, all of this started from a short movie student film from like 1970 called like Johnson's Retreat or Cabin or something. And like it
Hmm.
was pretty much just Halloween. There you go.
Oh, wait, there we go.
Yep.
Body through a window.
Body through window. Take your shot. Victim being alive would be another
Yeah,
thing.
she's still moving.
Yeah. Well, intentionally, I guess.
Right.
My favorite thing about this is like Camp Crystal Lake's in the middle of nowhere, but by the next few movies, we're going to start seeing ambulances get there like
Yeah.
that.
Now, the difference between this and Halloween, The Final Girl, is Alice is continually terrified here. She has nobody to be brave for, like Lori,
Mm.
with the kids.
And they'll adjust that in the series too,
Yeah.
going forward. Are very
Well, it's part two with
psycho music.
who everybody loves Amy Steele for. Yes! Betsy
Big
Russell stepping into the
hugs.
film.
Big hugs.
Oh, calm down.
Wait, is it Betsy Russell or Betsy Palmer?
Betsy Palmer. Sorry,
Yep.
Betsy Russell is,
I'm
yeah.
like, who are we? I don't know either.
Betsy Russell is the hot Betsy Russell.
See, now the lights make sense because it's the headlights.
Mm-hmm. I'm not afraid. And it's the Jeep.
Yeah, we should have been clued in by now. Oh, and here we get a monologue. There's 20 more minutes.
Oh, yeah, because there's a long chase sequence.
Okay.
This turns into a Bugs Bunny cartoon for the next 15 minutes.
His name was Jason.
These rotten children. Who the hell is Jason?
She gonna give it away?
Oh, here it comes.
There we go. Oh man.
She's so good at this, though. How she just turns.
Mm.
Oh no!
Was his name Jason? I can't remember.
I think it, yeah.
Oh,
She's got a Rambo knife.
yep.
Tell him. Boom.
Yep, this movie's just about elder abuse. Okay, so we're still in the headlights. Nope.
Oh, poor Annie. She kept her in the fucking Jeep like
Weird.
that.
Was anybody waiting for Annie? Like, did that ever come up and we talked through
Well,
it?
they were kind
Oh,
of.
there we go. She put him in a tree. That would have been a scene.
Yeah, all the elaborate setups.
That'll be a series trope too, the discoveries.
Yeah.
Still in the headlights. Yeah, I mean,
Those Grinch teeth. I won't. So yeah, from this point till it's a chase movie.
because there's an epilogue of
Yep.
sorts. So we've got some time. There were guns the whole time. She's the only one who knew there were guns. Paramount did a great job with the restoration on this over the
Yeah.
years. Like, what's weird is because like nobody really, oh, the lights work. She knows how to use the generator too. Um, because like until I almost feel like until Blu-ray, you didn't know how people were going to take care of these
Preserve
restorations.
these. Yeah.
Yeah. Because like even they could get away with shit on DVD and VHS, nobody gave a shit at all.
Oh, that's my favorite part. Well, she just starts slapping the fucking fire out her ass.
Well, that's right. This is how all slasher. This is the start of just knocking.
They should have had those Indiana Jones punch effects.
The Ben Burett sounds. You know, I could do that pretty quickly. I'm going to do that, everybody. I always say I'm going to do these kinds of things, but I'm actually going to do this one because that would be funny.
Those.
Yeah.
Just that loud ass. That loud ass.
So loud. Just so loud. Louder than gunshots. Like that was the thing I liked about Indiana Jones 4. I don't care. Like when they do that big fight, it's just like so loud. You're just like, yeah, this is what it is. Okay, so now we're starting to get exterior light and we're starting to see shit, but we're still letting that light source block everything behind it. Like we're not flooding the foreground with the blue lights yet.
No.
It hasn't gotten cheap to rent those lights yet. I forgot that she did this for so long. Like I forgot that
Yeah.
she is the villain of the movie.
And she's really good. She's killing this. That's why I never understood how come if they were going to do a reboot, why not just start from scratch? Start here. Really make Mrs. Voorhees that sort of icon that she's supposed to be.
You have her help the guy, you have her help Mr. Christie, open the camp again. And then she starts killing people off, and then it accelerates and accelerates and accelerates to this point. She's like trying to foil it along the way. Yeah, it writes
Yeah.
itself.
They could easily just, it doesn't always have to be Jason.
You get Ryan Murphy to do it, and it can be Sarah Paulson. I'm down. Like,
right? Exactly.
Yeah. Because then you could do anything else with the show as long as you get to that spot by the end. Like, which is, I assume, what they did with Ratchet. So, yeah.
Yeah, Sarah Paulson or was that Vera Farmiga?
Yeah, right. It's one of those two.
Or shit. Just go for it and get Toni Collette.
How prestige are we going here? Because I feel like I don't know who's more prestige, Sarah Paulson or Toni Collette.
Well, Sarah Paulson just does this shit in her sleep by now.
Yeah. So I mean, there's that. But with the Toni Collette, she might create a performance for it, like the equivalent of the Meryl Streep. So I guess, yeah, you would want this as a Toni Collette vehicle, and it would work with Sixth Sense. So there you go. You could have Haley Joel play Chris Christie.
There you go.
That dude is hilarious. He was on What We Do in the Shadows, like season 1. So funny.
Last time I saw him, he was on The Boys.
That's right. He was on that too. Yeah, he's so funny.
Yeah.
Another child star who did not become a major star.
That's because he
didn't want to.
He didn't want to, and I think it was a lot of shit he had to deal with.
Yeah,
they put him on that pedestal where he was like, "You're the next thing," and all that.
Yeah. Okay, so she's
I think he just wanted to be a regular kid for a while.
Okay. Still going with lights off of structures. Love it. Love it. Oh, that's right. It's a long epilogue type thing.
Well, this is going to go fast. Thanks to Pluto TV, I've seen this shit like 50 billion times a week. Dun it, dun it. Ah!
This is like the most boring action figure, like accessory set. One of them's got a crowbar, one of them's got a paddle, or I guess she's got a machete, right? Look at this. Look at this. It's like she's trying to kill her with half of a Lego stick. Like, that would be funny. Lego Friday the 13th. I'm down for that. That'd be hilarious.
And why don't they do that? Yeah.
Because you could do the gore. You could do the gore. You could do the kills. You could be like, you gotta blow his hand off and shit. Like, you could do this.
God. Mrs. Voorhees was a brawler. Jeez.
Mm-hmm.
All right, here we go.
Slow motion, so you know something's coming.
Oh! Oh!
The hands
And not
going up.
Betsy Palmer's hands. Those are
Nope.
man's hands. Down goes Voorhees.
That took a while. Well, what's funny about this is, and I don't know if they thought about this when they made it. You can there these movies are made so you can cut the violence out for TV. Like,
Well, for a
I,
while, they were purposely doing that, right?
but were they purposely doing it yet? I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
They were already. You
Yeah,
think
there
in
were some
80?
movies that did do like two takes, the TV take and the
Okay. Because I mean, this you could, yeah, this is like you
because
got to
remember
cut out.
Halloween, they had to extend Halloween because
But I think that was the first one.
yeah,
Okay.
and then they did alternate shots for I think two.
Yeah, because the TV cuts got different shots in it.
Yeah,
This is our first and only pretty Harry Manfredini music. Harry Manfredini does very pretty music, only he rarely gets the occasion to do it. I wonder if he's got some like coming of age, like a Robbie Benson movie. If you ever scored a Robbie Benson
yeah.
movie, I bet that'd be
Running Brave.
yeah, be a great fucking score. The other thing that I don't know if that's funny about these movies is we have no idea how big this stupid lake's supposed to be.
No.
In the first ones, there it's pretty small. By the fourth one, it's gigantic.
Yeah.
And by like the eighth one, it's Lake Michigan.
Okay. Now, where is he? I almost forgot this story.
What's the
I used to
story?
work at FedEx, right?
Uh,
Kind of by Belmont area. This guy, Kid Jason, because he used to live in Chicago.
uh-huh.
Lehman, wherever his name is. Cool guy, weird guy, self-absorbed as hell. he he literally like his whole career it was I'm Kid Jason.
Right.
That's his whole bit. And every time he came in, he would not cease to like tell everybody and let
That he was
everybody know
wow.
that he was Kid Jason.
Sweet Chuck kept it to himself.
Nice dude, but just fucking like, okay, dude, I get it.
We
Okay.
just missed the nurse looking directly into the camera.
You see, she caught herself.
No. So the boy. Is
Mm.
this did they add this or was this always the ending?
Yeah, this was always the end.
Okay.
This is your I shot him 6 times.
Right. And this would become sort of a standard for the
Yeah, the
non
first half of these.
supernatural
Hmm.
slasher type movie. If Sean S. Cunningham had any stones, she would have looked directly into the camera. That would have been a great fucking shot. Oh my god, that would have been a great shot.
Yeah.
Looking like River's Edge. Like,
The
all right.
jump scare kind of I guess we could thank De Palma for that because of Carrie. I think that was the
Yeah.
first time they did something like that.
Yeah. Fucking hell, De Palma would do it right here. Oh, and there we go. There's the reveal. We got a top build killer. Do they go in reverse order of deaths? I can't. No, they do not. Oh, Kevin Bacon's name was Jack. Special appearance by people. Wonder what that
Steve Christie
entailed.
was a special appearance, and
Mm-hmm.
Ari Lehman is Jason.
Yep.
Never forget that, because that's important to him.
Officer Dorf. Okay, there's Steve Miner again. Tom Savini.
Tasso. That's who played Mrs. Voorhees' hands in that last bit.
Okay. Got some different Harry music here. Sounding.
Mellow disco.
Yep. Harry would do a great mellow disco too. Like he was very much a composer of his era, but he knew what he was doing. Hairstyles. Wow. Okay.
6 feet under. Wow. I wonder if that's anywhere near curl up and die.
I wonder if that's a joke or if they really had a mortician do the hairstyles.
Right?
Music copyright 1980, logo music, and Panavision camera and lenses.
Anaflex.
That's why it looks so good.
Yeah.
Like it had real.
And then because it's a prestige Paramount film, we get the logo at the ending, which I always liked.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh, I miss Golf Western.
And the changeover. Yep. For a gas company, they really knew how to make movies.
Yeah, so good.
All right. So there you go. That is, excuse me, Friday the 13th,
yeah, Friday the 13th, part one
of
and that's
9.
how people have to refer to it now.
Yep. So we will be back with part 2, directed by Stephen Miner, starring Adrienne King for a second, right?
Yeah, she's pulling a Hitchcock where, it predates Drew Barrymore in Scream.
It's kind of the Halloween resurrection.
Mm-hmm. And then we get our new final girl who everybody loves, Amy Steele.
Okay. And no Kevin Bacon. So
no Kevin Bacon at all.
That will have been the biggest star in any of these movies. All right.
Well, till let's see. I think it was 7. Tony Goldwyn makes it in one of these.
Oh, that's right. He does. I forgot about that.
I'm pretty sure it's 6 or 7. Even.
Yeah, that's right. He might even show off his midriff. That's right. I forgot. It is, but it takes that long until, and it's only Tony Goldwyn, right? Like,
yeah,
he's the bad guy from that movie.
And that other movie, the sleazy best buddy who, who's the turncoat. Oh wow, yeah. Well, I don't really have any final thoughts on.
No,
it still holds up. I think it's good. I mean, the franchise didn't hit its stride till 2 and 3, I guess, but it's a great start.
Yeah. I'll have to pay attention. I'm psyched. To see when they introduce the first blue light, so don't let me forget. I think it's going to be 3. I don't know.
Maybe I'll keep thinking it's later, like 6.
No, I think they
6. 6 is totally like a Universal picture, like a Universal monster movie. I think they purposely made it that way. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yes. Well, definitely that one. Definitely the one with the graveyard opening.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we'll find out. So, but until then,
yeah.
This has been
out of Camp Crystal Lake.
Exactly. Camp Crystal Lake Radio is shutting down for the night, folks. And Don't go upstairs to fool around when there's a kid swimming in the middle of the fucking night.
Exactly. All right, we're out.